These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
Write it down. You like writing things down. Write this down.
Yes. It's the OG edition of Write That Down here. 10 plus years of putting statistics next to our predictions like absolute fools. So you can see just how wrong we are on a regular basis here. It's Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd. And today's Write That Down session is powered in part by MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Yes,
Judd.
and the last one is the most important, the air conditioning, because I am looking at my phone right now, and guess what, folks? It's going to get hot. It's going to get sticky. Summer is almost here, and that means that you want my friends from MSP to make sure that your AC system is running smoothly. You do not want to turn this on in about 5 days, your AC on, and find out, oh man, it's not working. I got to call someone now. Find out right now. MSP Plumbing, Heating and Air are going to come to the rescue. They're going to come to your house. They're going to make sure that your house is comfortable. They are your source for all of your needs. I mean, heck, a few months ago, I had a problem with the furnace. Guess who came over? MSP. Guess who fixed it? MSP. So check them out. Their website is calmsp.com. Calmsp.com. Or you can give them a call, 651-615-4292. Also, you can find them on Facebook. Calmsp.com. They'll make sure that that house of yours is comfortable for the summer months.
Amen. Amen.
Write this down.
All right, we got a Wolves game 5 tonight in Oklahoma City, although it kind of feels like everyone's just mourning the season already. So I'm curious. I have some Wolves predictions. Curious if you guys do too.
Oh, yeah.
I want to remind people, because we're not going to do a Flagrant Howls until after the game tonight. There's the recap from the last game and then another episode yesterday if you're playing catch up on Flagrant Howls. So this could act as like our pregame content for Game 5 tonight. And I just want to remind people, we're celebrating the 9-year anniversary of the last time Oklahoma City held a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals. And they were, I think, a 20-point victor, a blowout victor in Game 4 over Golden State at the time. 3-1, home crowd going crazy. Russell Westbrook, and I think it was Westbrook, Durant. I don't know if Harden was still on that team.
No, I don't think Harden was there. Fun fact, that was one of my first shifts on 1500 ESPN on Sunday night, was that win. And then also the subsequent Game 7 comeback by Golden State. So 9 years ago, old Dex Tweets, fresh out of college, learning the board, trying not to crash the plane. Sometimes there might have been a couple, blips, but I was there for that game.
So there's the common denominator of Declan bringing it all full circle here.
Well,
9
Declan,
years
come back and
in
work
between.
The board.
Actually, we're gonna.
Yeah,
that's true, Dex.
Can you
We're
come back
gonna
and work
need you
the
to
board?
go sit in that old
Go
AM
rogue
studio.
and just fire it up. Put the game on. Screw the restrictions.
And we're gonna need some 2.5-minute sports updates. Dee 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 dee. What was that song? That's a different song.
Da 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 da.
This is your 1500 ESPN Sports Update. I am Declan Goff.
Yep. Twins lost again last night.
Twins lost again. Oh, and that was
The last
2016.
still sucks. Bye.
That was 2016 Twins. So that was nothing but updates on 110 loss season or whatever the hell that was. Yeah, it was brutal.
So listen, and that was the last game that Oklahoma City won in that Western Conference Finals because Golden State came roaring back. So it has happened before. 13 times in the history of the playoffs, teams have come back down 3-1. So here's how Write That Down works. 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. And listeners, if you want to be like Alex and be a guest listener predictor, you can send Declan a message through the SKOR North app, and we'll try to get you scheduled for some time here in the coming weeks and months. The season runs Super Bowl to Super Bowl. So that's the 2025 season here. Let's start with Judd. The accountability for Judd. Just one thing came off the board. You said the Can't Man will win an NBA MVP award this year. The Can't Man.
The Can't Man. Yep.
Coming up short again.
Thanks, Skip. Skip.
It's so funny. It's actually a huge compliment that Anthony Edwards is the guy that Skip Bayless chose to replace LeBron James.
Yeah.
As his number one.
Except Skip is now what's his platform now? He's got
Doesn't
like
he have just like his own YouTube channel?
He's got like a DraftKings sponsorship or something on his YouTube channel. Is that what it is? I think that might be it.
Let's see here.
He definitely has
Bayless
a YouTube channel, and I think that's his platform. So,
yeah, he's got it's the Skip Bayless show.
Okay.
On YouTube here.
I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got it's well, this must be a converted channel because it says there's 1,800 videos on it. Unless he's just pumping takes the last 3 months or whatever.
He's doing nothing but working out and then coming home and pumping out takes.
Just pumping takes. Okay, so that's Judd's accountability.
Okay.
I had 2 things come off the board. I said the 6'8" or however tall he is, 6'10" Carson McCusker would hit a home run at some point in the last week.
They don't play him.
0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts.
Yeah, they don't really play him. He's been here for a week.
His bat throw, though, at Target Field was incredibly impressive. Into left field. Legit.
Dude,
it's also it's difficult to keep Cody Clemens out of the lineup. Another home run last night.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Cody Clemens MVP votes coming.
Are we approaching, in terms of incredible, completely unexpected, random Twins player hot streaks, where on the Lou Ford index does this one fall? Lou Ford hit like 400 for the first 2 months of his career. Yeah. Minkiewicz did it too. Minkiewicz kind of came out. It was like his second or third partial year.
I mean, hell, Plouffe 2012, summer of 2012 is up there. I mean, that was...
But Plouffe was a first-round pick, top 10 organizational prospect too, wasn't he?
Yeah. But still, like, an unhurt... I mean, he was, let's be honest, he's told the story, like, he almost was DFA'd right before that hot streak started, and said it was Luke Hughes. So, I mean, I think we still kind of can include him to a degree. Chris Colabello. Yeah, Colabello.
Yeah.
Did Cleat Thomas have a run, or was he just Cleat Thomas?
No, he was just scary.
He was just Cleat Thomas.
Yeah.
He stared at you with those eyes that stared daggers in you.
Who was
he and Domet?
Who was the other guy?
Scary dudes.
Jordan Schaefer.
Oh, Jordan Schaefer, yeah.
Have a little run.
So, a little run. You know who also won? I think we've done it already on Random Twin. Brian Busher in June was like unbelievable in 2008. Go look at his June numbers; they're nuts. So, like, yeah, there's an index. There's a total index.
I also said the Celtics will force a Game 7 against the Knickerbockers. They did not. That game last night, holy cow! Halliburton had, I think it was like a 36-point triple-double with 0 turnovers. The first of its kind in the history of the NBA playoffs. Absolute
He's awesome.
Monster performance.
He's
and
overrated.
Now the Knicks are down 3.
Overrated.
Overrated?
Okay.
That's what the league says. He's overrated.
Okay, listeners had a few things come off the board here. We'll start with the bad. Dylan said Ant-Man, the Can't-Man, will finish top 5 in MVP voting. He was like 7th because he can't crack the top 5 because he's a failure. Marshall had a parlay. Ant will finish top 3 MVP for the Can't-Man. Jaden averaging at least 15. Jaden averaged over 15 for that like 3-month stretch, but it was like 12 a game. And then the other Thor said, the 4 major men's sports teams in this market for the 2024 and then into 25 seasons will have a better collective winning percentage than they did the previous season. That's Twins, Vikings, Wild, Timberwolves. And the bar was a 506 winning percentage. I think collectively they were at like a 560 winning percentage, my math showed.
Okay.
So the other Thor, correct on that one. And then Dex said correctly, back to game 2 of the Western Conference Finals, Dante DiVincenzo would hit his first 3-point attempt in that game. And he did.
Just asking, because he was horrendous going into that game.
No.
Only had made 25% of his 3-pointers.
No.
Specific enough. No. Not a home run. I'm not saying
he's like a career.
He's supposed to hit
like
his 3s.
40% 3-point.
He's supposed to, but guess what? He missed.
He doesn't get a pass.
75% of them before that shot.
Okay, so
75% before those shots.
So if you're going to use recency bias within the home run equation,
yep.
Royce Lewis has been awful so far. I'm going to predict that Royce Lewis has a base hit today. Is that a home run?
No.
Why not?
No.
Where he's been terrible. He's hitting 140. So there's like a 14% chance that he gets a base hit and then he gets a plate appearance.
Specific enough that it's the first 3-point attempt.
Yeah, there's a
He hasn't been
40%
hitting it.
chance he hits a 3-point.
No.
By the way, he's shooting 42% in the series on threes.
He's had a lot better last 3 games.
Yes,
That
he's
was-
been better last 2
All right.
games.
Just asking. Just asking.
Did Declan put this fight up when he made the prediction?
No.
No, he didn't even
Just
ask
asking.
about it.
Yeah. There were though some people on the show last week that had
that's
some
right.
questions about the accountability session on both shows about not having touchdowns or
Yeah,
home
we
runs.
should bring
though.
that back at some point. That's right.
Well, let's do it. We could do it. Let's
Yeah.
do it. Okay, let's do it. I don't want to waste Alex's time.
Right.
So let's
I agree.
come here. Let me make a note here. Otherwise, I'll forget.
Yeah, I
Circle
think
back.
mine was.
Circle back.
I think mine was on Purple Daily. Write that down.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah, we can revisit
There
those.
were some questions being asked of the committee that decides on touchdown passes.
So on the season here, 324 for me, 314 for listeners, 261 for Judd, 240 for Dex, and then 3 home runs each for myself, listeners, and Judd, and then 2 for Declan. All-time stats: Declan leading the batting average category, 342. Judd's the hit king, 365. Listeners, the home run king at 73. So there we go. Let's get Alex in here, our guest listener predictor. What's going on, man?
There we go.
Not much. Good morning. How we doing, fellas?
Awesome.
We're gearing up for another basketball game here tonight. Judd's camp notes in full effect at Vikings practice today. It's kind of a sneaky day on the sports calendar. What will give us your background as a Minnesota sports fan? Are you sweating this Wolves series? What's going on with you?
Kinda, I guess. Background as a Wolves fan. I was born in Iowa, born in northern Iowa, lived in Iowa most of my life. I'm just more than a Wolves fan. I'm a Minnesota sports fan. Anytime we were at my grandma's house, the Twins were on the TV. That was 20 plus years ago now. So if that were to happen now, obviously we'd have to find some sort of magic way to watch those games. She was a big fan of Torrey Hunter.
Oh,
Wasn't.
Yeah, my dad always had Vikings on the TV Sunday afternoons, so we always seeing purple and gold on Sunday, and that made it easy just to kind of grow up watching them and start liking them. And I liked watching basketball. It wasn't so much my dad at that point in time, but I enjoyed it. And at that point in time, it was KG's heyday, so I was real big fan of KG, real big fan.
yeah. Torrey Hunter, by the way, I feel like a really sneaky player to get fans hooked. Like he was, if you were becoming a Twins fan in the early 2000s, not quite the Puckett effect, because Puckett was winning championships and stuff, but Torrey Hunter's exciting defense, his flashiness, likability. I feel like Torrey Hunter is pretty high up on the list of Twins players who hooked, I don't know, like kids or young people into being a fan of the team.
I mean, if you ever watched Baseball Tonight, he was a staple on Web Gems.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Staple Web Gems.
Yeah, he was. They used to keep a tally on like who won the most web gems throughout the
That's
course
right.
of the season too. And he was always pretty high on that. So, all right, Alex, we're going to start with you. Over to Judd, Declan, me. We'll make 3 trips around the room. So if you're ready,
Write it down. You like
We are
writing
ready.
things down.
I'll come out strong. I'm going to say Ant scores 40 and the Wolves win.
wow, let's go. The can't man putting off elimination for 48 more hours. I like it.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, Judd.
All right, write this down. So, in light of the reports about the Twins in the Pioneer Press on Sunday being nowhere close to a sale, and then clearly the Twins coming out and saying, "Oh, hold on a second, we got people at Target Field looking around all the time. They're kicking the tires. What's the Pioneer Press talking about?" Write this down. The poll ads will still own the Twins through January 1st of 2026 with no sale announced.
Wow. So you think this is all like a PR play to show?
I
No,
think
there's a ton of interest.
I
What are
think
you
they-
talking about?
Yes. And this whole thing seems a little bit weird. They've also, so the Orioles sold, if I'm not mistaken, for $1.7 billion. Originally, that's what the poll ads wanted. Now it's magically 1.5. We'll take $1.5 billion, which is coming down, which originally they weren't going to do. I will say this. I do think the rest of baseball will frown upon any reduction in sale price because I mean, this is a team in a good market with a still relatively brand new ballpark. I think there's a lot of things. I don't think Charlie Walters' report was without some merit from people behind the scenes. So I'm going to say that there will be no announcement of the sale through January 1st, 2026.
Okay. Be interesting.
Write this down.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that Shooter had that report, and then pretty quickly multiple outlets had like a counter report to it. So it's
and people are going and looking around the ball. It just seemed odd.
But they were checking out the new mixed drinks out in the center field bar.
They really
you guys see our pontoon in right field?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I love the pontoon.
I do. I think it's great.
I love that. I want to do it. I want to sit there with some friends. That's
you
actually pretty cool.
How does that work? Is that like buying a suite or something, or how do you even?
Yeah, I think it's like you need at least like 8 people. I think I forget the number, but yeah, you need to like kind of pre-purchase it with a set amount of people, and then I think you get your own supplies of food, drink, etc. So,
ooh, okay.
Write this down.
Fishing pole.
I'm in.
Yep. Yeah. Write this down. With the Thunder back at home, SGA shoots at least 15 free throws tonight in Game 5. Shoots at least 15. Just FYI, his average for the playoffs right now is like 8.5, 9 for free throws. Oh my! The still frames on Twitter or even on Wolves Reddit are awesome. But I think he's gonna get all the calls in the world being back home, and he'll shoot at least 15 free throws tonight in Game 5.
I go around my house now, bumping into things on purpose and falling and drawing fouls. The refrigerator this morning got me. The sliding glass door tripped me. The hutch, I fell over it. I've been shooting free throws all morning before the show started.
The ottoman. I went head over, just literally did a somersault.
That's on the floor. The
ref, not a shooting foul.
Stella fouled me too.
Write this down. I think that would, just for the record, that would be a home run if that happens. If he gets 15 free throw attempts, it'd be kind of double what he's been getting. So, I think the Wolves force a Game 7. I think everyone is premature in mourning the season here. I know that was a devastating loss. They're down 3-1. It's going to be really hard to beat this team 3 times in a row. But I guess I would be surprised if we get a laydown here tonight and it's just a party for Oklahoma City.
The Wolves love this too. Like their season's been built on, oh, you're in trouble now. It's
100%. Yep. And you know what? If you get this one, and now you're going back home to Target Center where they were the better team over the course of 2 games. I know they got beat in the second game, and that was a very 50-50 game. But they have the advantage. If you can get this one, then you get back home.
Yeah.
And then once you get to a Game 7, crazy things happen, like Denver found out in the second round last year. But we'll start. I think the Wolves force a Game 7. Write it down.
Write this down.
Joe, were you gonna say something there? Or?
No, I was humming. Interesting.
All right, Alex, back to
I got fouled again.
Foul!
I got fouled. My desk fouled me. Foul!
After all that, all right. All right, I wrote this message a few weeks ago after listening to you guys talk about KG, and this was shortly after Lori and A-Rod were announced. So I just want to make it official. Write that down, official, because I like writing things down. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lori will offer some sort of office role, or small part ownership role, to KG in their first year of their tenure. And I agree with what Judd said. It will be like a small, like mentoring type, dealing like on hand with the players. And I know KG had mentioned something on the podcast with Paul Pierce. He wanted to do something in a collaborative effort with other Minnesota sports teams. And I think that would be cool to see.
Yeah. Sounds like he has, I don't know what it is, but some sort of vision that goes beyond like just working with the Timberwolves, that he wants to help the state of Minnesota, the city of Minneapolis. Maybe he'll run for governor or something. I don't know. Maybe he's got political aspirations.
Let's take small steps first.
Write this down.
Can we get the
Small
board of
steps.
governors vote first?
Just- Yeah.
What
Just
are
come back
they?
to Target Center.
Are they waiting until after the NBA season? Why have the owners not voted on this and made it 100% yet? It's weird. Just get it done. I don't know. This has literally been over 4 years. Vote and change ownership already.
Yep.
End rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I wonder
Okay,
if they're going
Judd.
to wait now till the end of the finals. It just seems odd. Okay, write this down. The Wolves will win tonight, so game 5, and Mr. Bounce Back himself, Big Julius, as I like to call him, Julius Randle will have 20 or more points tonight in a Wolf win. He is.
I think he nears triple-double numbers.
It's been a lot of this, and I think he comes back now. And he was. I saw breakdowns in some cases accusing him of quitting, which is a large statement
Jason
to
Timp
make.
from Hoops Tonight.
Yeah.
That's a great podcast, by the way. I thought that was I don't think he's quitting.
I'm not going that far. That's a real indictment. I would have to hate him before that to say that, because there are guys who quit. Don't get me wrong, and I hate them, but I don't hate this guy. And yeah, that was a major. I will say this. In fact, we could explore this on statements. This series, to me, from the Wolves' perspective, the utter, Julius quit. I don't think he quit. He had a bad game. And the Ant dialogue, to me, is so interesting. It's become this, you either think Ant now isn't good, or he is, or people are defending him. It's like, there's a conversation here that goes down the middle of what's going on. It's just it's very odd. And I think this is what happens when the national people that don't watch teams get involved.
Well, on the Julius thing real quick, because I saw that same clip, and I generally really respect Jason Timpf as a podcaster and as an X's and O's basketball analyst. But to chalk up the Julius Randle dud games in this series to him quitting, I actually think is not acknowledging the job that Oklahoma City is doing defensively. Oklahoma City is the better team between these two teams. If both teams are playing at their absolute peak, it's pretty close. But Oklahoma City maintains their peak more consistently than the Timberwolves do. They're also just a swarming, awesome defensive team, historically great defensive team. And especially in that last game, Julius Randle, he really operates in two ways. He'll shoot some threes and he'll get his long distance shots off, but he plays bully ball in the post. And Oklahoma City is not letting him do that as much. They also have 2 7-footers in their lineup on a regular basis that make it really hard for him as a 6'9", maybe 6'10", kind of undersized big man to get those looks at the rim. And just the physicality that they were allowing in game 4. Oklahoma City was bodying him as he's trying to do his Julius Randle thing.
Yeah.
They're just, I think he gets, now I will say he gets a little flustered and sometimes he can get thrown off emotionally. And maybe his body language is kind of weird. But I just think Oklahoma City has found the keys to take him out of the game. And now it's up to him to find an adjustment somehow. And
if you watch him a lot, too, as a guy personally who is burdened with bad posture, Julius's posture is not great. So it looks like he always looks sour.
Yeah.
But he's not necessarily. But I think because he looks that way, if you don't watch him consistently, it's like, look at how he looks. And it's like, that's just sort of him. That's not quitting.
What's funny is both fan bases, the Knicks fan base and the Timberwolves fan base, are experiencing the full range of the new player that they acquired, right? Like at its peak,
yes,
the Julius Randle experience is amazing. He's into it. He's flirting with triple doubles. He's playing bully ball. He's carrying the offense for stretches. But then at the bottom of it, he's putting up 6 points on 1 for 7 shooting or whatever, and the body language stuff. Just like on the flip side, the Cat experience on one hand is 20-point fourth quarter, cashing threes.
After a terrible 3 quarters, though.
And then plays unplayable the first 3 quarters. But then in some games, he commits 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes, and he's gone from the floor for a while. But then last night, he banged knees late in that game, and it was super weird because he went down like he was never going to play a game of basketball ever again in his life.
He does that, yeah.
And they kind of let him lay there and writhe around for a while. They left him in the game, and he made it very known for the last 4 minutes as they were losing that game that he was in severe pain. Tibbs left him out there even when it was the game was over and like the Pacers had
course
pulled
he
some
did.
starters and Cat's out there just limping around. So, anyways, full experience, both fan bases for Cat and Julius Randle.
Yep.
Okay, back to Dex here.
All right. Write
Write
this
it down.
down.
You like writing things down.
For better or worse, I think he gets up his shots tonight. So write it down. Anthony Edwards puts up at least 25 field goal attempts in Game 5. He's only had 20 or more once in this series against OKC. He's averaging 20 exactly throughout this year's playoff run, but I think he's going to get a lot of shots up tonight. Whether they go out with a bang or he obviously leads the charge for a win, he'll get up at least 25 field goal attempts tonight in Game 5. Write it down.
I have an Ant prediction as well.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
I think he bounces back. So I will say Anthony Edwards parlay here, or I guess it's more of an and/or. He'll either score 30-plus points and/or will record a double-double. So I could see like a 28 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists situation. So he'll either score 30-plus points and/or will record a double-double in this game. Okay, back to Alex for your third and final prediction.
Write that down.
All right, it's got to be a Vikings one. Big fan of the Vikings. So, last year I believe they were tied on the defensive side. They were tied for first in the league in sacks with 33. I think I'm just remembering that off the top of my head. So it's kind of a parlay here. This year they will lead the league outright in sacks, and with the revamped offensive line, they will also be top 3 in sacks allowed.
Wow.
On the offensive side.
I mean, if you're winning in the trenches like that,
They should be.
I think
Absolutely.
maybe.
Absolutely.
Love it, man. Alex, great predictions. The optimism here. Is there anyone you'd like to thank or acknowledge since you have this life-altering platform right now?
Declan Goff for emailing me and letting me get on the show. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for doing what you do. I can't imagine that watching sports all day long every day is really as exciting as it might seem. But thank you guys for the content. Really makes the days at work go by faster. Want to thank my oldest brother. He has season tickets to the Vikings, so every game I've been to, it's been through him. Like to thank my dad. Like I said, he's the reason that we were Minnesota fans in general because we lived in northern Iowa. My dad's hot take, and I told him I would make sure I got it on there for him, is that Jim Marshall needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Totally
that's
agree.
that's probably the most controversial one left in Vikings history, right? That he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's definitely the most.
Yep. And I think, if you, it's tough because the further you get away, the less appreciated he is, right? Now that it's been 50 some odd years.
And not to be crass, but it would be really nice to get him in before he passes away too.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, just as
exactly?
Like he deserves it. He played for it. I mean, he's one of the three of the 4, right? Page is in, Eller is in. Gary Larson, I can see not being in, but Jim Marshall among those, among that group, needs to be in.
And also one of the great longevity guys in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Just for that alone.
Played forever.
Yep. So Alex, awesome stuff, dude. Awesome stuff.
Thank you guys. Need to thank my girlfriend too, because she puts up with all of this.
She's important. Don't forget her.
That's right. Yeah, you can't throw out Jim Marshall and then not at least acknowledge your girlfriend there. So
nice, get in trouble for that.
Recovery.
Priorities.
All right,
Thanks,
guest
Alex.
listener predictor Alex coming in. Before we make our final predictions and then possibly litigate some complaints from last week's Write That Down sessions, I have no complaints about the legit pizza that I absolutely housed after Game 4 at Target Center. Came home, my amazing wife. She texted me. She said, I'm going to bed, but here's a picture of a legit pizza sitting on the stovetop, piping hot as I'm coming home. That crunchy crust, the stone-baked cracker-thin crust, zesty tomato sauce. It was a Supreme that I had the other night. It's fantastic. You can find legit pizzas inside the freezer section of grocery stores around the Twin Cities, and get that at-home pizza parlor experience. Also, Dennis Kirk is powering these Write That Down predictions today. So coming up is the second annual Minnesota Garage Build Bike Show, powered by Dennis Kirk. It's at Running Aces Casino, Saturday, June 7th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and it's free to register your bike and to attend. So it's open to builders. If you've been working hard on a ride, either that you're building or renovating in your garage, you're looking to show off that work, stop by the second annual Minnesota Garage Build Bike Show powered by Dennis Kirk. You can find out more information at DennisKirk.com.
Write this down. Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, Judd, your third and final prediction.
All right. Third and final. I'm going to go very Declan Goff with this because I'm going to go UFL prediction.
Nice. Love it.
At least 2 UFL teams will be relocated after this season.
Wow.
There are major problems with attendance. Off the record, I think it's going to be one of these 3. The Birmingham Ironhawks, the Houston Roughnecks, or the woeful Memphis Mayhem, who can't draw anybody. So we're going to see relocation of at least 2 UFL teams.
Did you, because I would have done the same thing here. Did you consult with your buddy Kevin Seifert on this prediction at all?
I did not.
Because does he do some? I know he does rule stuff.
Yes.
But does he do some UFL overseeing?
I believe that's correct. That's correct. But I did not. I have seen stories and tweets about and pictures of the attendance. Memphis cannot draw anybody, and there are cities being thrown around as alternatives. We are not one, which I'm sort of shocked by. But anyway, so I think we're going to get at least 2 relocations.
The only way that I feel like a minor league football league can truly work is if you tie it in with the NFL teams.
Agreed.
I think like it's a little bit different because the WNBA wasn't like a minor league, but it was a new league, and it was a women's basketball league that they were trying something new, right? You're trying to make something that didn't exist popular.
Mm-hmm.
And they did everything they could and still do. Not every team is necessarily directly tied to an NBA team, and some are separately owned. But when you can cross promote with your NBA team, and you can break, Nafisa Collier can show up to a Timberwolves game, and Shale Reeve, and you can share the same arena and TV platforms and everything, and you can cross promote like that. I don't know. The NFL would have to green light this and partner, and not view it as like a risk to like injuring our players or whatever it may be. But if it was instead of the Memphis Showboats, there's no NFL team in Memphis.
The Mayhem now, Phil.
The Mayhem. I'm sorry.
The Showboats are gone. I did not know that myself until I checked.
How do we get more fans to show up? Let's change the name to Mayhem.
By the way, the Showboats was a great name. Like, what are you doing? Why are you changing that?
Yeah. Well, it's tough to showboat when there's 4 people in attendance. So I just think at some point it'd be amazing. And the NBA does this too. The NBA has the Iowa Wolves and, all these other teams.
Farm out practice squad players, farm out some quarterbacks to this league and come up with a joint agreement. I agree completely. And plus, I might watch.
If there was I'm
trying
to think of, what'd you say?
I said, I might watch. If there's a Viking prospect, I might watch.
Right. Well, so what I was going to say is, let's say Max Brosmer, who the Vikings signed as an undrafted free agent. He's like their 4th quarterback. Mm-hmm. If there was a summer league and it was it's the Iowa Wolves, right? If it was the Des Moines Vikings or something, or maybe they have to be further south if they start in the springtime. I don't know. And Max Brosmer, it's Vikings uniforms basically, or like an offshoot of Vikings uniforms, and it's Max Brosmer. Like Vikings fans would travel down and watch those games in Iowa to watch the developmental prospects, wouldn't they?
You're talking about the idea too of eventually how do you eradicate preseason games? Because I think there's going to come a point where your veterans just like the joint practices are where that's going as far as getting guys work and somewhat controlling it. I think we're going to see preseason games gone eventually, and I'm fine there. But if you were to have a spring league to allow the young players to play games, okay, now that's like your preseason.
Write that down.
And we just fixed it all. All right, Declan.
Write this down. Matt Wallner hits a home run in his first game back with the Twins. Had another one last night in St. Paul.
It's not ready yet, though.
Not ready yet.
I saw the swing. It looks like it's slightly off, and the hamstring looks like it might hurt a little bit still. I'm not ready for him to be here.
I would guess he's probably off the record. I think he probably joins them in Seattle on Friday. But he'll hit a home run in his first game back with the Twins. Write it down.
If it's that's a tough place to.
Write it down.
Tough
You like
place.
writing things
But as
down.
Plouffe said, Sacramento would be perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll make a Twins prediction here to write that down predictions. So Royce Lewis has a 442 OPS right now, which is 340 points below his career average. So write this down. Between May 28th, which is today, and the All-Star break, Royce Lewis will have an 800 OPS or better over that stretch. I feel the breakout coming. So between May 28th and the All-Star break, his OPS for that period, not for the season, but for the period, will be 800 or better. Write it down. All right.
Write it down. You like writing things
The
down.
only show in America to make predictions and put statistics next to them. If you guys want to litigate some of last week's controversial home run decisions, I've got the spreadsheet of glory open here on my end. So
I believe mine was a purple daily one, Dex, right? I think it was a touchdown.
I think so. Yeah, I think there was a schedule one in there from Judd.
Do you have the specific prediction here?
Hold on.
No,
because you are in the write that down court of law right now, and you need to come prepared.
Your Honor,
to this
Your Honor,
litigation.
it's your screw up. So
this is an
very
arbitration
upset.
hearing, and you are fumbling through your notes right now.
So obviously, when you because the links you sent me last week, that you just update the ones like the link I have. Obviously, I don't have the old spreadsheet or the old accountability session from week prior. But I
mean, I'll go through here are the correct predictions that Judd has in the Purple Daily. Write that down. Vikings will sign 18 or more players to the UDFA class. Vikings will be scheduled for at least 2 or more Sunday night games and 4 or more primetime games. That was one that came off last week.
Okay, I think that's it.
So 2 or more Sunday night. I mean, they usually have like
there was a
3 or 4
to it that I found to be very special.
Just to be clear, specificity is not a qualification for a home run. The likelihood of it becoming a correct prediction is that, and we generally say 25%-ish, but some of these are hard to quantify.
Right.
So I looked at that and said, every year the Vikings, every year teams like the top teams have 7 primetime games, and you essentially said 4 primetime games.
Yep. I thought because I was right on 2 things in the same prediction.
That's so it was
but not really though. Like you were correct.
What?
How do you get to 4 primetime games without Sunday Night Football?
But he said 2 or more, so specifically 2 or more Sunday night games.
Yeah.
And then he said 4 or more total primetime games. So
my lawyer speaks
I think that's where his case is trying to be made.
Yeah, I said in particular what nights, and then I said 4 or more. I found it to be a prediction that we at least should have been discussed as a potential touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, this is where it's hard because this is all like subjective to figure out. There are some where you can say, like the DiVincenzo one, for instance, that Declan was fighting for. Well, DiVincenzo is a 40% three-point shooter. So to say that he's going to hit his first 3, there's a 40% chance he hits his first 3. That's way above kind of the 20-25% threshold.
If you had said he's going to hit his first 3-point shot and also said that he would then hit X amount of 3-point shots in that game.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. So I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is how I was just summarily dismissed here with what I thought was a very special.
If you feel like, listen, the audience has kind of a gauge of this too. If you feel like you'd like to have the audience chime in here.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay, if we get an overwhelming push that this should be a home run for Judd or a touchdown in this case,
let's see touchdown.
We will consider that.
Okay. Yep. I'm willing to put my fate, the fate of Sports Dad, an old flailing man who is just looking for a touchdown pass. I'm willing to put my fate in your hands, ladies and gentlemen. I would appeal to you though to remember that the clock is ticking on my time on earth, and I would really like this touchdown pass.
By the way, I didn't give myself a touchdown I said the Vikings are going to play the Bears in week 1. Like, that should probably be a touchdown. Because they could play the Bears. I'm setting a high bar for touchdown passes here. The likelihood of the Vikings playing the Bears in week 1 is... We'd have to do the math on the 2 times they play the Bears.
What you do to you is up to you. You passed the judgment on yourself. I never questioned that.
Dex, did you have one that you'd like to litigate here?
The one that I would like to bring to the court, clung, would be the Vikings play a Thanksgiving or Christmas Day game. So Thanksgiving being, obviously it's Thursday, and then Christmas is a Wednesday. So there's only like a certain amount of slots available. I feel that's enough for a touchdown.
Okay.
The other ones I made, no, I like the primetime game in September, maybe, but no, I don't think so. They usually get an early one. The Seahawks, I love that the Seahawks one just snuck in, thank God. But the other ones, like the Packers, you knew that they were going to finish against the NFC North, so I have a one in, like, that's basically a bunt. So yeah, I would just say the Thanksgiving or Christmas Day game would be the only one I would bring to the court as a potential touchdown.
Yeah, because there's 3 Thanksgiving slots, and then there's is it 2 or 3 Christmas games. You know what? Unless Judd wants to fight, I agree with Declan. This probably should be a touchdown.
So I'm at the mercy of the audience, and Declan just got a touchdown.
Yeah, but your prediction came nowhere near like the top. You basically said the Vikings are going to have an average amount of primetime games after winning 14 games. Yeah. Justin Jefferson and J.J. McCarthy.
And then I told you the 2. Now here's my argument.
How many primetime
games? Here's the Sunday night argument, though. A year ago, the Vikings were scheduled for 0 Sunday night games.
In the initial schedule release, yeah.
In the initial schedule, they were at 0, and now I got them at 2, and so I was putting my neck on the line with that prediction.
Okay.
But I'm willing to
Declan fought for it too. We'll give you a touchdown for that. We'll give you both touchdowns for these.
Okay.
Oh, boy, it took a lot out of me. Oh.
I don't think on the OG edition last week there was any.
There was no controversy on that show.
I don't think there was any controversy on that one.
There was no controversy.
So okay, this is how it works. It's a
good
tug of war
yep.
sometimes.
Yep.
This is how you come to the.
It's basically like traffic court though, because now we had to go back. We had to go back into court with a ticket. And then the cop didn't show up? Are you kidding me?
Right. If that happens, then I should just, you should get off. So Judd now has 3 touchdowns. I have 2. Declan has 1, and listeners have none. So, and we can reflect these changes on Purple Daily next week too in the official.
Everyone's happy.
Write this down.
I did see comments in the YouTube section that like we're definitely polling for Judd for I think that one, but also one person brought up, and I think maybe we should make this a thing. If we make a prediction, I think we all have to agree. If it's borderline, we all got to agree home run prediction, touchdown prediction. So then when the accountability session comes up, we're not. Yes, beforehand.
Yeah,
so then
we
just like you said, SGA, my SGA free throw one. You said that's probably a home run because it's double. So like I'll make the note too. If like we are kind of confused on one, I'll put home run in parentheses just so like we are all aware that that's a home run or a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. I mean, since we're giving out touchdowns here on this episode like candy, I think I'm going to take one for the Vikings are going to play specifically the Bears in week 1.
Okay. I'm good with it.
That's right. Look at us padding our stats here.
That's right.
On Purple Daily, write that down. All right, dudes. Don't forget tonight after Game 5, we will be live on the SKOR North YouTube channel with a Flagrant Howls recap and previewing Game 6 back at Target Center. It's going to be very exciting after the Wolves shock the world here tonight. For the Sports Dad, for Dex, I'm Phil, and these are your Write That Down predictions on the OG edition, Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd.